Everything starts to get slow, and now you're like finding tenths and tenths and tenths and tenths, and every car has its quirk. This one, transmission. This is actually the third transmission I've had in the car. Seat time.
Seat time, baby.
Seat time.
Subaru versus Mitsubishi.
Nah. Sometimes it just comes together, and you get that perfect lap. That feels great.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here with Steven Ellis. All right, what's up, Steven?
What's up, man? How you doing? Thank you for coming. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so I appreciate your time, man. I guess the first thing to start off with is when I originally got this car, I told myself, all right, I'm not gonna track this car. I'm only gonna put on basic bolt-ons and just enjoy the car. COVID happened, and I said to myself, well, I wanna drive again.
Were you always into cars?
Yeah, I was always in the cars. My first duty station when I was in the Marines was Okinawa, Japan. As somebody that loved like 90s JDM culture, that was just like the best place on earth for me. As soon as I could, I bought a maroon R32 GTR.
Fast forward, I guess you got the Evo and you tracked it as well?
I used to track it out in Texas. So Coda, MSR Houston, the Eagles Canyon, and then MSR Crescent.
Oh, there's a lot of tracks out there.
There's a lot of tracks in Texas. You know, so like if you're looking to move to Texas and you think you're not going to have a whole lot of racetracks, think again, there's a lot of tracks out there.
How's the track life over there versus California?
I think it's about the same. Track people find other track people. You know, you got your different organizations, the usual organizations that run track days. You know, a lot of those are out there. When I came out here, I had actually taken the Evo. I bought the Evo out here in California, and so my first track day was actually at Big Willow. And I was like, well, what do I do? And he was just like, dude, just follow me. And like. I didn't know shit. I'm just sitting there like not lifting at 8 and 9, just like, this is fun. After that, I was hooked.
How do you go from a turbo four-wheel drive? Obviously, you didn't like the driving of the four-wheel drive, but what made you decide you want to go with the FRS?
The first car I owned was a 1990 240 SX.
Oh, the best car in the world.
So it was the fastback. It was black.
There you go.
And that was my first car. I loved the front engine, rear wheel drive layout. Even though the car didn't make any power, it was still just like very fun. And I ended up selling that car before I shipped off to the Marines. And I told myself, like, I need to get a front engine, rear wheel drive car again. Let's be real, an initial D. FRS first came out. I was like, oh man, I really want that car. Never got the opportunity to get one, and then I needed a daily driver because I got tired of walking to work and just kind of like staying in the general area of Santa Monica. Went to the Toyota dealership, saw that they had this green one. I didn't know that it was a special edition, so I was just like, yeah, like I'd like to buy that. So I did all that and purchased it and drove it around for a few weeks. 4 months into the pandemic, starting buying mods. Tons of track days at Buttonwillow with SDC, and just like as much seat time as humanly possible. I think one of the days we went out to Chuckwalla, and I did like 58 or 59 laps, just, beating the shit out of the tires, just getting goober amounts of seat time. Yeah. Trying to inch towards, sub 2 and somewhere. Like, by that time, my skills weren't great. And it's still not great. There's a lot for me to clean up, keep going after it. As the car progressed and as I progressed, I just started chipping away at times. And, everything starts to get slow, and now you're like finding tenths and tenths and tenths and tenths, and just get the consistency going. Finally, I broke down and said, all right, I need aero. And I didn't want to get too aggressive with it, so I went with a 9 Lives Racing aluminum wing. And then I went with the guys at Race Bread. I took my car over there. They did a scan and got me a front splitter. You should be able to get that now. You can thank me for that for for this version. Had Concept 3 put all the aero on, and then they put the track spec hood vents I got from CSG. The brakes were, I want to say, the third mod that I got for the car. So before I even had the coilovers on, I had the AP Racing kit. The brakes from CSG the brake pads from CSG are the C21 up front and then the C11 in the rear. Been phenomenal pads. I don't think I'm gonna run anything else on the car. So as long as they keep making them, I'll probably more than likely keep running them.
What kind of caliper in the rear?
Stock caliper. Stock caliper in the rear. this car does not need
Massive brakes.
massive brakes in the rear of the car.
Tires, you're running AO52s, right?
Right, yeah, AO52s right now, probably burn through those. I really loved the grip. The grip was just phenomenal. I also like a tire that can last the length of a track day. If you're going for that like ultimate fast lap, these are probably the fucking 200 treadwear tire for you. Going out and lapping and getting seat time, probably the RE71 RS, FRS Sport R, or the RT660. I think the CRS wears about the same as everything else in this list. I've tried the CRS too, that can fast ass tire. Yeah, I think I've tried all the 200 treadwear tires on this.
Do you have a favorite? If you have to pick one.
If I had to pick one, I would say the RE71 RS is probably my favorite tire. Pace, longevity is kind of the sweet spot for I think the community right now. Like I know that's like a controversial thing for most people, but like tire wears like amazing compared to everything else out there, and you get a lot of pace out of it. So, and it's pretty streetable too. So still drive this around every day. And the interior is what makes it not that great of a daily driver. I removed the rear seat, came out when I got the Studio RSR roll bar put in. A lot of the plastic and seatbelt pieces are still in there. It's not much. I took the steering wheel out and put a Race Tech steering wheel. Panel for this in-vehicle controls is from Gerald Just product. Hub, or the NRG SFI hub, and yeah, everything else pretty much stock. I mean, I have a track box from Gerald as well in there. That's so I can do the pedal dance with a flip of a switch.
Flip throttle?
No. So this version of the 8.6, in order to disable all the driving aids, you have to do what's called the pedal dance sequence. So yeah, it's written out online. If you just press the traction control buttons and track mode buttons in the center console and just hold it, that doesn't actually disable all the aids for you. Don't know why they did that in this year, but you know, thankfully somebody figured out the pedal dance. In the Gen 2s, you don't have to do that. The track box allows me to just flip a switch and it turns that on.
Oh, where is that?
It's behind my radio.
Oh, okay. So you can't see it, but there's a switch over there?
Yeah. There's a switch right here, but the actual modules is behind the radio.
What does this do?
Oh, which one?
This one right here.
Yeah. So this is just my horn and my cruise control. Okay. So so I can control my instrument cluster because aftermarket steering wheel,
you don't have any.
I don't have that on the steering wheel yet. So this little plate sandwiches between the hub adapter and allows me to retain some of that, creature comfort.
Yeah. And where's the switch for the pedal dance thing?
It says driver aids right next to the.
Oh, those 4 switches?
Yeah, these 4 switches. So I can disable the driving aids, I can disable ABS, I can disable my tire pressure light, and then I can turn my engine fans on.
Nice. No ejectocito?
No eject seat. I did lose all my airbags at GTA.
Why is that?
So turn 2 at Buttonwillow, I went in and my entry speed I ended up bottoming the car out. And that bump triggered the airbags. Thankfully, I had the passenger side disabled, so it didn't grenade my
windshield,
my dash and windshield. But all the side A-pillar airbags are totally gone.
Oh man.
That leads me into the next evolution of the car, which is taking everything out, putting the cage in, and trying to get it ready for wheel-to-wheel next year. The goal this year is to get it down to minimum weight for Grit Life Club TR, and I'm going to try and do all the West Coast races out here, and hopefully go out to the Midwest and try and do a race out there. Okay. I really want to try and make it to Road America. If I can't, then I'll try to find another event out there that I can do.
Okay. Speaking of the weight, what's it at now? And the power?
The weight is pretty much at, well, I haven't dynoed it, but I'm pretty sure it's around 205 to 200 wheel horsepower. And the weight with me in it is around 2,700, 2,800 pounds, depending on, when I eat a burrito or not. I'm a light car. I've done almost 0 weight reduction on this car. It's just the rear seats, the roll bar weighs more than the rear seats, so it's added weight in there. Now, a lot of the weight savings has ultimately came from the front seats being out, the rear seat being out. I take all of the trunk stuff out. and the wheels and tires and the brakes.
Yeah.
That's really the extent of weight reduction. And then the engine bay is pretty much just about as stock as you can look. I'm gonna get another car to daily drive. This is gonna be my track toy. I don't plan on getting rid of it. I plan on swapping a multitude of motors in it over its lifetime. I believe this is a great car. I think someone wants a car to be like a front engine rear wheel drive track toy. This is a perfect platform. Like you can swap a V8 into it, you can swap a K24 into it, you can swap a 2JZ into it. You know, you're limited by your imagination with this car. And
It's like a modern day 240SX.
yeah, it's like the modern 240. It's perfect. I don't know why people are selling them. I think that in 10 to 15 years, people are going to be getting these like they were getting the 240SXs back in the day. And like, and by the way, I'm still not paying $15,000-$16,000 for a 240SX. You can get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You got me f***ed up. Like I know there's a community for that, but like, why would I do that when I can get this car?
How much can you pick one up for nowadays?
I'm starting to see this car for 12 to 15. Some people are selling it on the higher end where they are nicer bills, going for 20, 21, 22. And those are like really nice bills. I'm seeing a lot of really great track cars. I know a guy named Abel. He's selling a great car. I saw another guy that I usually see at the track today, Paul. He's selling his. Really, I think a lot of people are just trying to get up to the second gen.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one myself.
You're keeping this one.
Yeah, but I'm keeping this one. So I want both versions of the car.
So you want this to be like another level from here.
Yeah.
And then the new car, keep it semi-new, right?
Yeah, keep it semi-new, semi-stock. This time,
Yeah.
keep it stock. I am gonna mod it, but I'm not gonna go as crazy as I'm gonna go with this one. I think that I'm gonna keep the stock seats, keep that stock comfort and drivability, and then that'll be my daughter's car.
Yeah. This car, the first gen, you don't see too many people doing sub 2s. Maybe there's a handful of people that did it. What makes you think the next generation is so much more capable? Because I mean, some of the guys are just so much faster in the second generation.
I would have to say that motor, they solved the power issue in that car. So this is a 2-liter, that's a 2.4 liter. I actually think that for classing, that motor is better to swap in this car than a K24. If it could be done, if people do it, I might take that route instead of doing a K24.
Is that because purely power standpoint, or you want to keep it Subaru? Or
I think from a efficiency standpoint and power, I don't think that motor has had the time yet that this car's motor has had. Like, people have tried to push the FA20 as far as they could. You know, ultimately, like you either boost it or you build it, and then you eventually boost it. Whereas we haven't seen what a built version of that motor is going to do yet, and I think it's going to do very positive in the future. Once folks start tearing them down and rebuilding them, and hopefully a engine builder puts a decent package together for that motor, I think that motor is going to be a very good option for first gens to swap in, second gen owners to upgrade to. Oiling issues aside, like like every car has its quirk. This one, transmission. This is actually the third transmission I've had in the car. So, you know, there is a downside to owning a car and tracking it.
what's actually happening with the transmission?
So I would have to say it's been, for me, third and fourth gear. I've just been going. A lot of that is me on the first two transmissions of just like
How you shift?
Yeah, how hard I shift.
Yeah.
So I've cleaned that up. I've sent one of the transmissions out to get rebuilt, so that way I have a spare, because I plan on not f***ing this motor up. Having that as kind of like a spare until I figure out like what swap I want to do. But a lot of the swap kits that are out there for this car, they reuse the factory transmission anyway. So it's still good to get that transmission built, and hopefully it'll hold a little bit of power. But I think the ultimate goal for this car in this form is to try to get it to around 300. So I'm probably going to end up boosting it.
There's going to be people watching right now yelling at you, K-swap, K-swap.
Yeah, I want to. Like, I want to have a reason to K-swap it. I don't have a reason to yet. Don't get me wrong, I love God's 4-cylinder, but like I need a reason to swap it in. And like, yes, more power is the reason, but you know, it's not that much more power than what this motor already makes. So what's the real motivation there? It's like, swap it just to swap it, or do you actually have a need? Are you rolling around on the street, or are you tracking your car a lot?
Right.
You know, I haven't blown this motor yet. So, but then again, I am the first owner of the car. So it's only got 45,000 miles.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's only got 45,000 miles.
Shit.
That's all track miles,
Yeah,
man.
track miles.
Yeah, it's only 45.
It's crazy. All right, let's show the engine. I mean, there's not much to see.
There's not much to see, but here it is. See, not much to see. I still got a big ass battery in there too.
You know what I love is how low the engine is sitting on this car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about this car is is efficiency. There's not a whole lot of what going on. I got an intake. I don't even have a strut brace. You know, and shaft works, coilovers, and you know, like that's it. I still got the fucking factory sound generator still hooked up. The sound.
That VTEC sound, huh?
Yeah, but most people just like there's a cap for it. Most people just take that shit off and throw it off. Like there's not a whole lot going on here. Yeah. So for any of you that want to sub to a first gen, like it's possible. NA is possible.
Yes, sir.
I think I can do it with the car gutted and no aero. In fresh AO52s, like that. Like if I had known that those tires were like that, the very first time you use them are just.
So we know that you have shaft works.
Yeah.
What kind of arms do you have?
These are the factory.
All factory.
The factory arms.
Jeez. Everything is factory from front to rear.
Well, except for the rear. The rear, I have the SPL.
Okay.
Rear control arms, but that's it. I don't have any of the toe kits. I don't have any of the spherical bushings or anything like that.
Did you buy the rear ones just for camber adjustment?
Yeah, just for rear camber adjustment. Again, just like functional track mods only. Nothing too crazy here. So this, really, if I pulled the aero off of this car, it would be grade 6 cup. It would be modified class. So I'd be right at the edge of modified.
Pretty much stock car with coilovers, couple, intake, exhaust, couple things here and there, but mostly stock.
Yeah, it's mostly stock.
That's amazing.
Seat time.
Seat time, baby.
Seat time.
Yeah.
Seat time is king.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not the mods, the amount of time that you have with the mods. And probably the tires.
Yeah.
The fucking AO52 is pretty great. But I'm actually pulling a lot of drag with the stock bumper because I don't have a diffuser under there. There's a big air hole underneath.
Yeah.
Where it's basically just a parachute. Right. So what you see a lot of people do, they'll end up cutting this part off and then that reduces the drag, but I'm not doing that because I like the way that looks.
Yeah.
Or I'll probably end up doing. I'll probably cut it this year.
Sub to Club STC.
Yeah. Everybody wants the sticker.
Yeah.
Everybody at Concept 3.
Concept 3, okay.
Love those guys. If you haven't checked out their YouTube channel, check them out. You'll probably see my car on there. They do all the work on my car.
Okay.
A lot of my parts come from CSG, and then they get installed by Concept 3. Car was tuned by Zach at CSG, flex fuel tune. I've spent more on track days than I've spent on the car.
Right. The first question, rear-wheel drive versus front-wheel drive?
Rear-wheel drive. If I could get a BMW, I would. I'd probably get an E92.
Four-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive?
I would get all-wheel drive again, knowing what I know now.
Subaru versus Mitsubishi?
Nah, we ain't even gonna get into that. It's Mitsubishi.
Oversteer versus understeer?
Oversteer.
NA versus turbo?
NA.
What does sub 2 mean to you?
It represents a milestone in my development as a driver.
How long have you owned this car and how long have you been chasing it?
I've owned this car since 2019, at the end of 2019 till 2020, and I've been trying to sub 2 since 2021.
Do you remember the first time you were out there with this car? Do you remember the lap time?
I did a 213.
Yeah.
The first
that's
time.
Pretty quick.
I got some instruction from a few different instructors. Track days, lots and lots of track days. I wouldn't change. I wouldn't change how I did it either. I think I did it the right way. I think I progressively stepped up in grip. A very focused look at what mods needed to be added to the car to get me the lap time that I needed. Set a goal, like not an ambitious goal, but like a very achievable goal. Like, cool, I want to get a half a second faster. Sometimes it just comes together and you get that perfect lap. That feels great.
What do you think helped you the most on this car, modification-wise?
In this order: brakes, suspension, the tires.
What's your favorite modification on this car?
Seats.
seats.
Like they feel so it's a comfort thing, you know. It's
Yeah.
like I got race seats, but they're also very comfortable. My least favorite mod would have to be
The arrow.
yeah. It's a love-hate relationship. If you watch my laps for GTA, just know that the entire time I was driving with positive AOA, and that's bad. It was set positive, and it was pulling my trunk.
Yeah.
Front end was like lifting up because there was so much drag on the rear of the car. It was like the front end was lifting, and it was just all bad. But like that was a very good learning experience.
Any shout outs?
Shout out to Will at Concept 3, Dave and Mike at CSG, Zach, everybody competing in 8-6 Cup, Will Drees sticking with me in the beginning of my whole track career and like teaching me everything. Everybody that goes to Button Willow, Charles and Irene, and everybody at fucking STC, y'all are the shit. And then you.
Any final thing you want to say?
Drive it like you stole it.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.